Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Tobago. This week we're coming to you from, if you guessed Salmon Grove Development, then you're right. We're coming to you from Villa 123, that's Sea Glass Villa. Of course, I'm your host, Xavier Chambers, and we're going to head inside. But before we head inside and tell you a lineup of stories, I can assure you that you're going to enjoy this week's episode. Let's go. This week, we're sharing with you highlights from a Labour Sexual Harassment Forum, World Wildlife Day 2023 celebrations, and the Chief Secretary's T10 cricket competition will blast off next month. It's all happening in this week's Let's Talk Tobago. Paradise awaits you at Sea Glass Villa. This 4-bedroom luxury villa is located in a quiet and secure gated development close to the airport and beaches. Sea Glass Villa sleeps up to 12 guests. There is a private pool, and the well-groomed surroundings and the lakes make the environment very park-like. Guests will enjoy the very quiet, private, and peaceful surroundings. So Sea Glass Villa is safe and secure, but what should also be safe and secure is your work environment. So the Department of Labour, under the Office of the Chief Secretary, hosted a sexual harassment forum. We're going to take you there right now.
The THA is preparing for the implementation of the National Policy on Sexual Harassment in the Workplace. In doing so, HR managers, officers and supervisors from both the public and private sectors participating in a seminar hosted by the Department of Labour.
Public-private partnerships has to be established to build capacity and increase resources, especially when considering how diverse the island of Tobago has now become. This partnership plays a pivotal role in generating, transferring knowledge to all people, employees, employers, and students.
By the time we get to 18, 20, 30, 40, 50, it is even more difficult to understand that consent is something that can be given, and consent is something that can be taken away, even in the midst of it.
We have had all of this in it. Females usually sexually harass men, and we all laugh about it. I experienced that on one of my workplaces. If you're having a consensual relationship and somebody broke it off, you cannot now come and claim that the person sexually harassed you, because it was welcome and it was reciprocated. So it's not sexual harassment. When the act is assented to, there will be some definite responsibilities that the employer will be mandated to do within a specified time frame, right? So you have to formulate a written policy statement against sexual harassment within the workplace. Bring the policy statement to the attention of every member of staff.
The seminar was hosted at the Magdalena Grand Beach and Golf Resort.
Nature is simply amazing, and as the globe celebrated World Wildlife Day most recently, Tobago also joined in the celebrations. How, you may ask? Well, we're going to take you to Scarborough Botanical Gardens to see.
Reptiles such as iguanas and snakes, mammals like monkeys, a variety of birds, and many more wild game were on display at Tobago's inaugural World Wildlife Exhibition at Scarborough's Botanical Gardens. Themed Partnership for Wildlife Conservation, the event was a collaboration between the Division of Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development, and the Wildlife Association of Tobago.
While we as an association do our best to conserve and protect and educate about the importance of wildlife, we need others other stakeholders such as the THA, schools, groups to partner with us so that we can spread the message for protection, preservation, education, so that we can ensure sustainable development so that 10 years from now, 20 years from now, we can have species existing here in Tobago.
Partnership in all that we do is important, especially for conservation. No one person, no one group can fully appreciate, not only appreciate, but sell the appreciation or market the appreciation of our wildlife resources or our natural resources. And therefore we need to come together to market that appreciation for the entire landscape of Tobago.
In all of that, I think the collaboration is good, that we could help preserve the animals that is indigenous to Tobago especially. They are extremely important because they help the ecosystem to strike that balance between the birds have a part to play in keeping some of the pests around at bay, the iguanas have their role to play, the yard have the role to play in picking the little things around the yard. The set of flies, we have more yard full around, we got less flies. So everything have its part to play. Once we understand that, then we could now move different. We just have to change where we think and see things and better understand the purpose of everything.
I love seeing the snakes and also the monkey.
The one-day event was also a good time for game wardens and environmentalists to remind the public that the hunting season is closed. This is vital for the repopulation and conservation of our wild animals. I'm Amadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
If you're in Tobago from April 4th to 8th, I'll need you to add this event to your itinerary, the Chief Secretary's T10 Blast Cricket Competition. Here's all the information you need to know.
The pitch is set. The date is set. Now, in its third year of running, it's time to choose the players that will lead their teams to battle in the annual Chief Secretary's T10 Cricket Blast 2023. And our cameras were there for the draw.
And it's about selecting the additional players to make up your full complement of 14. 2 players from Trinidad. We do have 1 player retained from the St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and then we're going to have the other players coming from right here in Tobago. So once again, we have 4 teams with us this year, 4 franchises, should I say. The Little Tobago Islanders, the Fort King George Gunners, Rainforest Rangers, and the Bucko Reef Divers. Orlando James will now lead that Little Tobago Islanders. Keishon Dillon was retained as captain of the Fort King George Gunners. And the captain of Rainforest Rangers, once again, Ansel Ned. And the captain of Bucko Reef Divers, once again, Jaron Alfred.
It's always good for the competition itself, getting that other competition, making sure that the competition is, somewhat more exciting because there are a number of players here to showcase their talent. So I have no problem with the competition. I'm just looking forward to it.
The Chief Secretary's Cricket T10 Blast will run from April 4th to the 8th at the Sid Grace Sporting Complex in Roxborough. I'm Crystal George for Let's Talk Tobago.
We're going to take a break right now, but stay with us. We'll be right back.
When the quarantine thing done and everybody touch road.
A brown skin, girl, I wanna rock you. Lift up your head and hold it up high.
So what if you could help clean the ocean of microplastics just by heading out to fish? Well, the village of Palatuvia is introducing Trinidad and Tobago to a new boat engine powered by Suzuki that can do just that. Let's hit the waves right now to learn more.
The Clean Ocean project is an international project that is put out by the international Suzuki International. Basically, what they're asking all the dealers to do is every year to do, you know, something for the marine environment. So today we in Palatuvere, we are doing the launch of the first microplastic Suzuki 140 in Trinidad and Tobago. The owner of the engine is Mr. Carlos Peters. The reason why we really want to, you know, push this engine is because of what the engine actually does. Inside of the engine, there's a microplastic filter. So while the engine is out at sea operating, doing its normal thing, it filters the ocean and helps with the whole ocean cleanup that Suzuki is trying to promote worldwide. What the engine will take out of the ocean is the microplastic, you know, that is harmful for us humans, even in our bloodstreams right now, and even in the fish that we eat right now. Because these plastics are, like I say, micro, they end up inside of smaller fishes. Big fish eat small fish, and then we eat the fish.
The microplastic filter, once you own a 140 and a 150 Suzuki horsepower right now, we will be able to, for every fishing trip that you do, you will be slowly cleaning up the oceans with the microplastic filter.
I've got that Suzuki take effort and come with it because, you know, in our country we have to step up with game. I'll be friendly. I want to hear about this, I say I'll come up here today to see the wonderful work. So I wish the rest follow very quickly.
While staying at Sea Glass Villa, you might decide you want to have a drink. Well, why not try a local brand like Tobago, which specializes in an array of beverages? Crystal George will tell us more in this story.
He makes products from Tobago and is also inspired by Tobago, with hopes of reaching the world. His brand, Tobago, offering an array of drinks including wines. And his main reason for getting into business was to give foreigners the opportunity to taste our local products whenever they hit our shores.
The name came from our first settlers, that's the Amerindians, and because of the shape of the island. I deal with drinks, all right? Local drinks, wines, rum punch, creams, pancha creme. I thought it would be best to use that name to represent products made in the country itself. So wherever the product goes, a piece of Tobago goes with it. I think as a tourist-based country, we should have something local to offer outsiders, tourists, you know, and not depend on goods coming from outside to give them when they come here. They didn't come for that experience, right? They come for something authentic, something local, something different. And this is what I do. Where grants and other, I should say, workshops are concerned, when it comes to learning various things about your own business, whether it be management, accounting, they have different workshops. They encourage young and small entrepreneurs alike. And like I said, 100% I would support them, right? I will tell anyone, BDU, people to liaise with.
Tobago is housed at the Signal Hill Micro Center. For more details, contact Kevin at 744-4550. I'm Crystal George for Let's Talk Tobago.
And that's a wrap. That's how we end this week's edition of Let's Talk Tobago. Be on the lookout for more stories again next week as we bring you our next episode. Now, for more information on Sea Glass Villa here at Salmon Grove Development, you can call 682-3436. I'm Davia Chambers saying see you next week. Do have a fantastic week.
And you can tell me how you feel. Come on and let's talk Tobago. Beautiful places, such friendly faces. You're watching Let's Talk Tobago.
October. October will never be better. With Tobago, carnival fever. Book your passage and come on over.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome to the Tobago Updates morning show. This morning we are coming to you live from Magdalena Grand. Yes, we're on the outside. As we continue to give God thanks for life, I am Julian Skeet.
And I am Maria Richardson George, and this is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Good morning to Tobago, good morning Trinidad, those of you viewing us on the live, and those of you in the Caribbean, good morning, good morning, good morning. We are definitely on the outside,
yes,
Julian.
Maria, it's a beautiful Friday. It's a beautiful Friday. That kind of feeling, that kind of excitement, that kind of energy that we... Thank God. Thank God indeed.
Thank
it's
God
Friday.
it's Friday.
And anyone who knows or works closely enough with me knows that it has been a very interesting and long week, but certainly loving it. You know, when you love what you do.
I hear you, Julian. I hear you loud and clear. But, you know, the good thing about today is that we are on the outside.
Yes.
I know you would have rathered. You would have rathered to have been on the inside where there's AC, but I'm loving the outside.
We love the outside once the weather remains like this. By the time the sun starts to come up, folks, that will be my indication to hand you on over to Maria Richardson George.
That's right. Sunlight rising over the hills.
Hey, viewers.
Take
Yes, let me make sure I note this date and time. Friday, the 24th of March. Things happening. Now you see what happens when you get a day, 2-3 days kind of rest.
Makes a big difference.
You see the kind of energy and vocals that we are return here with. Yes, they take serious. But we are so happy to be here this morning.
Yes.
Ria, why are we in this area today? What's happening significant in this space today?
All right, and I'm glad that you asked. So the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation is hosting their Tourism Women's Forum for 2023.
Beautiful.
We were here just about a year ago. We were right here chatting with Sandra or Tony and a host of other persons, who were here in Tobago for this forum.
Yes.
So today, again, the forum is back this year. We're going to be chatting with her, chatting with some of the presenters, new presenters this year. So we're certainly looking forward to that.
Excellent. All right. At this point, we head on over to news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Julian and Ria. I am Candace Jackson, and here is your news in 90 seconds for Friday, 23rd March 2023. The monthly sitting of the Assembly Legislature was cancelled yesterday because the clerk of the House was not present. After members gathered at the chamber for the sitting, Deputy Presiding Officer Joel Sampson addressed the House and said it could not proceed in the absence of the clerk according to the standing orders. He explained that the clerk gave no notice of her absence and there was no appointed deputy clerk to preside on her behalf. However, according to Sampson, they are awaiting on the Cabinet's approval before hiring a deputy. After the cancelled sitting, Assemblyman Watson Duke claimed that Sampson was wrong. He said that the clerk does not need to give notice for a day's absence, and the presiding officer failed to put measures in place to prevent such a situation. Meanwhile, the president of the Tobago Hotel and Tourism Association, Alpha Lord, accused Caribbean Airlines of publishing disconnected data. CAL recently announced that it had 80% capacity on the air bridge for the first quarter of 2023. However, Lord said they continue to be inundated with complaints from guests about access to available flights. He believes CAL's reservation system is burdened with problems and does not cater to the unique needs of Tobagonians for travel between the islands. And nationally, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley denied any interference by his government in the Director of Public Prosecution's office. Speaking at a press conference yesterday, Dr. Rowley said he does not want to crush the DPP, as stated by former Prime Minister Basdeo Panday on Monday. He also accused opposition leader Kamapasabi Sessa of, quote, nastying up the country's name, end quote, by all her allegations concerning him and the DPP made from her political platforms. And that was in news in 90 seconds. It is back to you, Julian and Ria.
Thank you,
Candice. Thank you there, Candice. Bringing us the news. Very interesting developments being mentioned there, Ria, yesterday. And, I hear some, going on at the clerk of the House. Let's understand that we need to treat with what is structure, the filling of a vacancy, and treating with an existing position. We ought not to harp on the fact that the clerk would have taken a day. That's not unusual for anyone.
No.
And that's an entitlement, as far as I understand it, in the public service. The reality that we ought to treat with is that there appears to be no real system in place to treat with the absence of whether a significant or position or not. And for me, that's what we ought to deal with. What is the arrangement that must be put in place so as to ensure that even when an individual in any office or any organization takes a day for whatever reason it may be, a personal day, that the organization can continue to function.
But was there not a stand-in to allow the sitting to continue? As far as I'm made to understand, there was a stand-in made available for the sitting to continue, but that did not seem good enough, and so it just never happened.
Yeah, so we wait to hear, the real issue per se to be actually dealt with under the circumstances, so that something like this, ought not to happen. That's almost the equivalence of saying another government office or THA institution won't function. Let's say the administrator isn't able to make it in for a day, or the chief secretary isn't able to make it in for a day.
That's not that life cannot continue.
Correct, that life cannot continue. So notwithstanding the fact that we meet the Tobago House of Assembly constitutionally, and by the Tobago House of Assembly Act would meet, on one day in the month, doesn't change the fact that on that one day in the month, I could potentially not be well. I can have an emergency under the circumstances to treat with, but still there ought to be a system that allows for things to continue to flow, because I always make the point, an institution and an organization, definitely in the context, even more so in terms of our governance, must be larger than any one individual at any given time. All right, viewers, so at this point we're heading on into our birthday celebrations for today. I think we have one birthday celebrant today, and then we got two photos coming up after. But the birthday celebrant we have on screen is a former assemblyman and it's a former secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly, Claudia Groom Duke. Auntie Claudia, we want to wish you a happy birthday and God's continued blessings as you go forth and you continue to celebrate different stage in life.
That's right.
Ever so often when I glimpsed her, probably early in COVID or even before that, I haven't seen her in a little bit. She's in her relaxation, going about her business mode. All right, certainly want to wish you
life.
a happy birthday. And, we should also have coming up on screen today, Ria, by the time I head out of here today, I'm going to end up in the East, Ria. I'm going to be on your side. I'm going to be on your side,
Tell us
Ria.
what's happening in
Yes,
the East.
because today we actually have a Road Market 7 taking place, and that's the Division of Community Development, Youth Development and Sport, hosting Road Market 7 heads to Charlottesville, Tobago. So they can look forward to the displays, booths, craft, information on the division, programs, initiatives, entertainment. Yes, we're going to be out there with you. The division is out there with you. Division of Community Development, Youth Development and Sport in Charlottesville.
Tell us where exactly in Charlottesville.
Well, it's going to be on that full stretch. In fact, the photo should be up showing you the area now before the lineup of tents and set up with booths, etc. I'm really giving a feel in terms of ensuring that the celebrations and more importantly the activities and offerings of the division is able to meet the people. And this time it heads to different areas of Tobago, and this time it's heading to Charlottesville Road Market 7. All right. So at this point, viewers, we head on into Tobago in Focus.
Don't fear the smear. This is the name of the campaign powered by the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection and the Tobago Regional Health Authority, aimed at giving women the opportunity to get free pap smears during International Women's Month. Secretary of Health Dr. Faith B. Israel said there is a growing concern that women do not prioritize their health and noted that healthy women means healthy families.
As women, we know that pap smears are not very, very comfortable things to do. They're embarrassing. You're literally sitting there with your legs akimbo, wide open, and the stranger is in all of your most inner parts, most private parts. So we were really encouraging the women, you know what? Let us not care about it. Don't fear the smear. Come out and get your pap smears, get your breast exams, and all of those things that we need you to do.
Launched on March 11th, the Secretary said the response was overwhelming. As such, additional testing sites have been activated to capture women in all communities. Dr. B. Israel also encouraged the men to be part of the process, as they too have a role to play.
Men have to be conscious of the fact that we need our women to be healthy. We need our women to be sound. And yes, we are going to be pushing the men as well. As a matter of fact, when I spoke last week in Trinidad, that was one of the things I highlighted. We need to focus on the men. So we'll be doing that soon, probably even before November. But yes, the men need to be a part of this.
All hands are on deck, according to the Health Secretary, including retired nurses and medical professionals at one private institution, offering their services, some free of charge, throughout the duration of the campaign, 7 days a week. Stay tuned to the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection's social media pages and public service announcements to get information on when you can access these free services in your area. So what are you waiting for? Don't fear the smear.
Yes, viewers, it is 7:15 a.m. just about. We want to welcome you back to the Tobago Updates morning show. This morning coming to you live from the Magdalena Grand. At this point, viewers, we're heading on in rear. Who do we have on the rundown this morning?
Okay, so this morning, because we are here at the Magdalena Grand, and this, as we mentioned earlier, this is for the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation's Tourism Women's Forum for 2023. We start things off this morning chatting with Mrs. Sandra or Tony, who's the program coordinator for the division. She's going to chat with us on what we can expect for the day. Yeah? And then we're going to continue things on this morning, chatting with Karina Cockburn, who is the economic development professional and change leader. And the focus continues this morning on Tourism Women's Forum 2023 and promoting women's empowerment. And that's what it's all about, Julian.
All right, and it's my information that we're also going to be having the opportunity to chat with the acting manager for Magdalena Grand, acting general manager Jason Martin, Onika Bristol Solomon, senior events coordinator, and Troy Murray, food and beverage manager, as we speak about the Magdalena Grand for Easter. Exciting times ahead, Ria.
That's right, an excellent place to spend, an excellent location to spend your Easter vacation, to unwind and relax and just chill out and enjoy what Tobago has to offer. And then we're going to wrap things up.
Yes, we're going to wrap things up with Judith Coward. And she's the head of marketing and storytelling Forward 40. And that's about the Tourism Women's Forum 2023, promoting women's empowerment. So we're really going to get a perspective here before we even head into the official start of the forum this morning.
Yeah, and we are pretty excited, certainly excited to see what they've got to offer even in chatting with them. And just about 2 weeks ago, we celebrated International Women's Day, March 8th, just about 2 weeks, 2 weeks or so.
Correct.
And so the focus for the entire week was on women, and here we are again talking about women's empowerment. And it's not charging women to take over the world, but certainly allowing women to step up. Women can do just about anything. For too long, a lot of women have just stood in the background, remained in the background. But it's a time for us to come forward. Amen?
Yes,
amen.
Agreed. Amen, indeed. Viewers, when you're on the outside like this, viewers,
yes, amen.
that energy and spirit is moving within Sister Ria this morning. And I want to say to you, I am here just a bit distracted by the outside. You want to focus on that camera, and you're all over enjoying the birds, enjoying the setting out here. Very relaxing at the Magdalena Grand. But then again, you are refocused when you have a host here with you like Ria, and let me use the viewer's word, in that psychedelic dress. That's a word we used to use, as the viewer says, long ago, for beautiful colors. Sending much love there. No, not me at all. That's Joan Phillips Pierre. Using that word, according to Joan, a word we used to use long ago. So let's shout out, Wayne, June, Sharon Mills, Joan Phillips Pierre, Lisa James, QQ Melville, each and every one of you joining us on the live. Auntie Dora.
Not forgetting Auntie Dora on the live this
Auntie Dora on the live this morning. So viewers, we want to thank you so much for continuing to choose the Tobago Updates morning show. And yes, we got an exciting morning ahead for you. But we just want to remind you that this is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Come let we go, come let we go, come let we go to sweet Tobago. Come let we go, come till you know, come find your soul in sweet Tobago. Come let we go, come let we go, come let we go to sweet Tobago. Come let we go, come till you know, come find your soul in sweet Tobago.
Tobago, it's time to go. Sweet like Tobago. Tobago, here's the real deal. Nothing sweeter than when your internet fast all day, every day. I telling you, it's real nice when your home internet and TV package fit your budget. Well, if that's what you want, you're safe with Digicel Plus. Sign up or switch to Digicel Plus now and pay $0 for 1 month. Plus, plans start as low as $199 and you get installed for free. Visit digiceltt.com or a Digicel store now.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry. If your nice car get damaged bad, I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. Don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry. If your house get flooded out real bad, I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is about that thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving
Viewers,
from
welcome
place
back
to
this
place.
morning. We're coming to you
Good
live from the
morning.
Magdalena Grand Beach Resort. We are certainly on the outside. Just before we get into things, I just need to remind you here that we want to say thank you this morning to our sponsors, House of Norma, for this beautiful gown, and my Mateo's sandals. We cannot forget some of our major sponsors here, Sanctuary and Phyllis Grant for the hair. All right, so we say thank you again to Classic Cuts by Aquilon. So good morning to some of our major sponsors here. As we focus this morning on this women's empowerment taking place here at the Magdalena Grand for 2023, we're chatting this morning with Sandra Ortoni, the program coordinator for the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation. Sandra, good morning.
Good morning, Ria.
Again, this year, 2022-2023, we are back here at the Magdalena Grand. I know that you are tired. We're not seeing it. We just have to go on your word. We know that you're tired, but yet you're here and you've got things ready. Tell us about this Women's Empowerment conference that you've got for 2023.
Okay, before I start, I must recognize my secretary, Mrs. Tashia Grace Boris, and my assistant secretary as well, and the tourism administration. I would also like to say good morning to all the beautiful women of Tobago and by extension Trinidad and Tobago. Happy International Women's Day. Ria, International Women's Day is a continuation of what we have started last year. And as you know, it's a celebration of women globally.
Right.
Last year, 2022, the program attracted over 100 women. We had it right here at the Magdalena Grand. And it really served as an excellent platform to allow women in the industry to sort of network with each other, to have discussions, and also just be supportive of each other coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic. We had a lot of women who had issues. This year, 2023, it's no different. We are having the event once more in collaboration with the Magdalena Grand Beach and Golf Resort. And this year we have a great sponsor, the B-Mobile, TSTT. They are also on board partnering with us, and we are very grateful to have them. This year the focus is on digital education, and this is in keeping with the United Nations theme, and we know that speaks to digital innovation and technology for gender equity. We have coined a local theme in keeping with that, and we are speaking about empowering our women through digital education, technology, and innovation. And our theme seeks to equip women with the digital education, expose them to that, and sort of build their technological competence and expose them to social media, to digital marketing issues and so on, because we have great speakers on. We have chosen persons who are in the field, in that discipline, to speak with them. And so we expect to have a great program today.
Now, Sandra, before you go on there, let's talk a little bit about where our Tobago women are in the whole scheme of digitizing and innovation. Tell us, give us an idea this morning. Where are our local women? We came from a background of being gardeners. A lot of the women were homemakers, but they tended to their garden. They would tend to their gardens. You know, small businesses at home, making bread and sweet bread, and having these little shops on the side. But where are we in the whole scheme of moving forward into digitizing and being innovative and creating?
I would say that I'm a woman who believes that, you know, in research, so I don't have the actual figures based on research. But I think that a lot of women have made the transition. I think that some of us were forced to get online because of COVID-19.
We saw
our
ourselves
children,
where we didn't expect we would be, yes.
Our kids had to be online, and so some of us had no choice. But I think a lot of women now are online, but based on when I did some research, the UN research shows that a lot more women need to be online, and they think that they are not where they're supposed to be. But I think that a lot of women have made a transition, including myself, because I'm not that technologically savvy. But my granddaughter, who is 11, she would assist me at times.
You have an 11-year. Okay, let's not. We're not going. Your 11-year-old granddaughter assists you with it.
Of course.
Okay. Okay. I'm not even gonna jump on that.
I think we have made great strides in that area. As I said, I think so. A lot of women now I'm holding a lot of different positions in the technological field. So I think so.
All right. Now we want to talk a little bit about who are some of the presenters for this year's forum.
Okay, this year's forum, I should say that the presenters were carefully selected, because when you do things, it must be based on the theme, or it must be within the context of the theme. Because as I said, I am trained, and I like to do things a certain way professionally. So you may not just have women who are in the tourism industry. And one thing I need to say, I like to think outside of the box. So not because we are tourism, that doesn't mean to say we can't do some corporate social responsibility initiatives.
Go ahead,
it doesn't mean
Sandra.
because you are in tourism, you don't have a heart. So if you are a hotel owner and there's a family who needs help, don't you think some of the hotel stakeholders could come together and support that family? That is where we want. That is what we want. So we have Mrs. Lisa Agard. We have B Mobile CEO. Yes. You know, they are in the technology field, yes. PSTT. We also have the country representative of the IDB, Mrs. Karina Coburn. And I know that the IDB had a future tourism program that sort of embraces technology. So she was, you know, carefully picked. We have Mrs. Judith Coward, who is a content strategist and so on. And, you know, she's a former media personnel and award-winning person. So we picked her. We had Miss Chanel Smith from TTHDI. We also tried to involve the Tobago Information Technology because, you know, they are quietly in Tobago, I think. I think they need to be more out there, but they are quietly and impactfully because I use 211 all the time. So right. They have been, but I think they just need to be more assertive and let people know about the services because I use them. So we have, among others. But what I think about today is that we really, I really want to speak about my, you know, commend my administrator and my secretary of the division for really embracing this initiative and, you know, giving the kind of support that is necessary to have this. What I want to say again is that this program also in the division, we continue to embrace inclusiveness. So what we are having, we have Mr. Warner at Penny Savers. He donated some hampers. And what we are doing, we will be, what should I say, giving to some of the differently able community. You know, last Thursday was, or Wednesday was World Down Syndrome Day. Tuesday. But what we are, Tuesday. So what we do, we always try to include them because the UNWTO speaks to inclusiveness in tourism, and we do that. We also have a number of entrepreneurs. You see a number of them doing booths.
Yes, promotional booths. Some of them setting up even as we speak.
Right, so even when we have it, we try to give them that opportunity. But at the end of the day, I think tourism has to start with us here in Tobago. We have to appreciate tourism first. We have to really embrace it before we even think about just doing it for visitors or people coming in.
Yeah.
The persons in Trinidad, in Tobago, I should say, the residents here, must develop an appreciation for what we have. And all of this is part of showing them that tourism is about everybody's business. We care.
Yes.
And then the women.
We
What
hear
more,
you.
I mean, what more could you desire?
We hear you loud and clear here, Sandra Tooney. Let me ask you, Sandra, is this forum open to the general public or was it by invitation only?
Oh, it was by invitation and a little open. We catered for 100. When we were tallying up, we were over 160. We had to try to cut down. So it's not really just open to the public, but we had to send out invitations. But it's more, we more cater to industry stakeholders, the females in the industry. And we also looked at our staff, because, you know, we have administrative staff who work behind the scenes. One of the things I need to say is that this year's program was threefold. We started with recognizing our heads, administrative staff in the division who always work behind the scenes. Nobody see them, but we do the work.
Right.
And then we had a youth aspect because, you know, we have a thriving youth tourism program at the division.
Yes.
So we had an online program talking about safe social media practices for young people. It was facilitated by the cyber unit of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. So you know, it's about networking with our private and public sectors. And then this program today culminates the International Women's Day activities. And I mean, if you look inside the ballroom, it speaks for itself.
All right, and we're going to take a look at it very shortly. But Sandra, very quickly here, in one line, one sentence here, one sentence, because my director is, no, you keep it, yeah, he's over there. Very quickly here, that one message to women, the women who are viewing this morning.
I want to say, as women, we need to lift each other up. We need to be the change that we want to see and just continue to, as I said, love each other. And even if a woman's crown is crooked, you could just do it and nobody don't have to know that. Let's continue to support each other. And I would like to end by saying we are also live on the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation's Facebook page. And that this program has been endorsed by the Caribbean Tourism Organization, who will also be doing a virtual address. And the Ministry of Tourism has representatives coming here today as well. So we could just grow from strength to strength. And I would like to say happy International Women's Day to all the beautiful women of Trinidad and Tobago. We love you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You know, for somebody who is usually shy about coming here to do these interviews with us, I don't know what happens when we're wrapping up. She can go on, and it's what she's called to do, certainly. So we want to thank you so much for joining us here. And even as Sandra was talking there, Lois, Leslie, you came to mind. Thank you so much for being my big sister. Thank you so much. Lots more coming up this morning, viewers, on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. So share the live, share the live, share the live.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Welcome to Limage Parfait Day Spa, your urban oasis and wellness center. Our services includes massages, treatments, facials, pedicures, weight management, detox programs, and much more. Call us today at 624-1452 or 720-7474. Trinidad locations and Bonacore, Tobago at 273-7772. Let us treat you like the VIP you are.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, Good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Magdalena Grand this morning. And in this segment, we have the opportunity to chat with Karina Coburn, and she is the economic development professional and change leader. And she's going to be one of those persons at the conference today. Thank you so much for joining us here on set this morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning, and good morning to your viewers too. It's such a pleasure to be here.
All right, so as we get the conversation started, we're welcoming you to Tobago. Tell us, who is Karina?
Right, so Karina is a Jamaican national. I live here in Trinidad and Tobago. I'm the country manager for the Inter-American Development Bank.
Nice.
We work across Latin America and the Caribbean, and it's always, you know, it warms my heart always to be in Tobago because it feels just like home.
All right. So today's session that's taking place, the Women's Empowerment and Promoting Women Empowerment, we just celebrated International Women's Day. What does that mean, or what did that mean for you, you know, as a professional within the industry?
I think that it's really important to celebrate women and to talk about women's issues, not just on International Women's Day, but on all days of the year. I think there is still a lot of work to be done in terms of gender equity and balance. And if we keep on focusing on it, if we talk about it, if we take action on it, then I think that we will make progress.
So what would you say is one of the significance that you are hoping to achieve coming out of today's session, as, you know, women from far and wide gather, you know, to really speak on common issues and to seek to motivate, to encourage and to inspire each other? What are you hoping to achieve primarily today?
Well, I represent a development institution. We work on economic development, and it's essential that development be inclusive and involve all members of society, both men and women, because we need to be contributing equally and leveraging the talents, skills and contributions of all people, all citizens, in order to achieve economic growth and development. So by focusing on tourism, which is such an important sector in the Caribbean, I think that we can really begin to highlight some of the important contributions women in tourism need to make and have been making, so that they can build on these contributions and help to grow the economy.
All right. Tell us a little bit about what you'd consider the tie-in and making that connection between the development bank as well as the tourism focus today. Strategically, what do you bring to today's session?
Yeah, so we do quite a lot of work in tourism across Latin America and the Caribbean. Here in Tobago, we do work very closely with the Department of Tourism. And also we support the development of the blue economy as well, which has to do with economic activities which are based on the sea or inspired by the sea. And as islands, I think that we really need to focus on leveraging and exploiting those resources that are all around us. It surrounds us in the oceans. And I think that there is quite significant opportunity to be gained there, and we have been working quite hard on that.
Would you say that this is definitely one of your focus areas as the country representative?
Yes, I mean, when you work in Trinidad and Tobago, you have to focus on the various areas of economic activity that are relevant to the country. And of course, tourism is going to be an important driver of economic development and diversification in the country. So I would say it is important to focus here. Quite a number of citizens here in Tobago are involved in this particular industry. And we did take a hit during COVID, yes. And there is a lot of work to be done in terms of rebuilding and having a resurgence in the industry. So the conversation is absolutely relevant, not just for women, but for all the contributors to the sector.
Well, certainly you come with an extensive background, having also been involved, my information, as the Canadian International Development Agency, working in terms of looking at UK's development, and even within your very own homeland of Jamaica. You know, if you were to make a quick comparison as to how that experience will naturally lend to being able to work with a small island like Tobago, or even the country of Trinidad and Tobago, tell us a little bit about that, making that comparison.
Right. So, of course, Jamaica is a tourism-based economy, while Trinidad and Tobago is what we would call a commodity-based economy. Nevertheless, it's important to have a balance in the drivers of economic activity. You know, while we'll continue here in TNT to focus on oil and gas, there is room to add additional efforts. And I think in my homeland as well, we look at diversification away from tourism. Yes. So the conversations are not the same, but there is a similar base in terms of creating more economic opportunities for the citizens. And I think that there is relevance, there is transferable knowledge that we need to share across the Caribbean. And if we collaborate and cooperate together, then I think we can have better outcomes for all the citizens of the region.
And I'm happy that you mentioned knowledge sharing, because that's the next area I wanted to touch on. How do we go beyond these forums in terms of really seeking to inform, educate, and engage not just the professionals who are required to drive it, but also our very own citizens, the young persons themselves, who ought to recognize that they also have a critical role to play in any country's development along those lines. What do you suggest as some of the strategies that might be looked at?
Yeah, so of course we want to move beyond talk to action, and that has to do with economic policies at the policymaker level. So what government will do. We have to look at private sector contributions. I know that TSTT is ably represented here in this forum. And then as individuals, we need to see what role can we play to contribute to our own success, our own growth, our own progress. Yes. And I think all facets are necessary in order to achieve success.
All right. I note you're one of the presenters today. Any additional sneak peeks we're going to get into, what you hope to focus on? I know you've spoken very broadly about the development bank, but any sneak peeks into what you will focus on today? And I see she pauses for a moment to wonder what she should reveal.
Yeah, because I don't want it to be boring. I want it to be exciting. I was asked to speak about the Future Tourism Program, which is a regional initiative that we have to introduce digital tools and technology into the tourism sector across Latin America and the Caribbean. However, I want to go beyond that to look at the role of women in tourism and to encourage women to take their rightful place in the sector.
Excellent. Would you say, as you speak digital, that the demand has grown immensely now more than ever coming out of the pandemic?
Absolutely. I think we all realize how essential it's going to be to use technology. And why wouldn't you want to use it? It makes our lives easier. We want to be able to move fluidly between the digital world and reality.
Yes.
And our children are already doing that. So I think it's going to be an important enhancement to the way that we do business. It opens up the markets. It allows us to attract new customers. And I think it's important for everyone to embrace the opportunity that digital transformation provides.
Excellent. In closing, yes, viewers, we have the opportunity to chat here with one of the presenters today at the Tourism Women's Forum, Miss Karina Coburn, economic development professional and change leader. In our final 30 seconds, your words of inspiration and encouragement to the women and the young ladies looking on.
I think it's really important that we try to help each other as women. If you have a chance to help and support someone else and another woman to progress in their career aspirations or in their business, do it. It doesn't take anything from you, and it really means a lot.
Excellent. Well said. Thank you so much there for joining us here on set this morning. Yes, viewers, this is the Tobago Updates morning show, and we are coming to you here live today from the Magdalena Grand. Yes, taking place today, hosted by the Division of Tourism. It's the Tourism Women's Forum with a number of speakers and presenters really seeking to bring you the information. And I like the way that it's said by Karina, moving beyond just words, but really taking it forward to action. We thank you so much for the continued love and support and for continuing to choose the Tobago Updates morning show. Viewers, those of you joining us via TV, those of you listening in on the radio, and those of you connecting with us on your device, this is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning. Good morning.
Welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show. I am Candace Jackson for Out and About, and I am here at the Grand, Magdalena Grand Hotel, and we are going to tell you about some amazing things that are coming up for you. As guess what, Easter is around the corner. So I know what you're probably thinking, what are some of the things that you can do for Easter? Well, I'm here to tell you. And of course, to introduce some of these things, I am going to, well, introduce you to Mr. Jason Martin, who is the Acting General Manager of the Magdalena Grand Hotel. Good morning and welcome to you, sir. How are you?
Good morning, I'm fine. And hello, Trinidad and Tobago. Greetings from the Magdalena Grand Beach and Golf Resort. We are preparing for Easter, and we want you to stay with us. And we're going to tell you why. So, let's start with the lobby. This is where you're going to check in. And this is our resident Easter decoration tree. It was an idea born among the staff right here in-house. They pulled their ideas together. And with the help of a decorator, this tree was born. So when you check in, it's the first thing you're going to see.
And I don't think this is anywhere, you will find this anywhere at any hotel, even in Trinidad.
I don't think so. I mean, we had guests sitting here for a while and said they're amazed they never saw it. We never saw it, but it's here, right at the Magdalena Grand. But you know, when you check in here, there's more things you need to know. We are planning plenty activities for the Easter. So you should know our North Wing pool is recently recommissioned and it will be ready for you in time for Easter. You can bathe there 24 hours. It's a adult pool though, but we have the children pool in the middle. And we have beach volleyball. We have a small football field. We have a cricket pitch. We have lawn tennis 24 hours. If you want to venture further, we have bicycles. Just book your bicycle at the front desk and ride through the plantation. And you're going to see our golf course. The golf course is there. We have our resident academy teams as well as a pro to teach you adults and children golf. But you know what, Trinidad and Tobago? To enjoy all that, you have to book first. And Onika going to tell you how to book on Magdalena Grand.
All right. So, as he's queuing me, I'm going to introduce you to Miss Onika, who is a Senior Events Coordinator here at the Magdalena Grand Hotel. Good morning and welcome to you. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I am great. So we are getting the idea that there's a whole lot planned right now for Magdalena for that Easter weekend.
Yes. So for the Easter weekend, we have something special for everyone. We have our deluxe rooms, our deluxe oceanfront rooms at the rate of $12.99. That includes breakfast in all taxes. We also have our double bedrooms, which is at $14.59 per night. All of our rooms faces the ocean, and we have activities coming up for the Easter period. We are catering for the families, so we have the volleyball, beach volleyball, pool volleyball. We also have tennis. Our tennis court is lit, so it's open 24/7. We're going to have Easter hunt on Sundays, and starting Easter Friday, everyone who is arriving with kids under the ages of 12, they're going to have a special treat bags upon check-in for the kids. Something else we also have is we're going to have live entertainment, which Mr. Troy is going to cue in for the restaurant. But to book, most importantly, you have to call our reservations department. You can give us a call at 660-8800, or you can email reservations@magdalenagrand.com.
Okay, and then is there any special treats that people are going to be getting as they check in?
Yes, so upon check-in, the lovely tree that we have, it's a one of a kind. It's a one of a kind. There's special treatment at front desk that you're going to get as well. Upon check-in time is 3 p.m. So once you arrive at 3 p.m., your room is automatically going to be ready for you.
All right, and tell me, what is going to be so special for this Easter season here at Magdalena Grand Hotel, other than the sporting activities and the Easter egg hunts?
So we have done a lot of changes. We have upgrades. Our pool will be open. We just upgraded one of our nylon pools. Not our nylon pool, sorry. We just upgraded one of our satellite pools. So our satellite pools will be ready for you guys. We have our 3 swimming pools. Besides the activities, our lovely staff. You can't beat our staff. You can't beat our service. So all you have to do is just book your rooms.
All right, and as you mentioned rooms, now we need to tell you about the rooms. So we're going to introduce you to Mr. Troy Murray. So you're going to come over here, and he is going to tell us about some of the rooms. Of course, he's the head of the food and beverage manager. So tell me about some of the rooms that are going to be offered to our prospective guests.
Welcome, Trinidad and Tobago. We have a variety of rooms that caters to all types of stays. The rooms include stays for families, which we love. We have rooms for couples, which we also love. King-size bed, none less. And of course, if you're here with friends, we have 200 rooms available. So if your group is large or small, we can take care of you. Now, Easter starts on Friday. And Easter Friday, what to expect at the Magdalena? You check in at 3 o'clock. Immediately after that, you can expect wonderful dining experience at our Pim Bar restaurant that offers a buffet theme on Friday with a local flavor. Live entertainment. Walk with your dancing shoes. It's going to be a fantastic experience. The following morning, you've done Friday. Our breakfast is voted #1 in Trinidad and Tobago among all the options available. I kid you not. We have been doing a survey among our guests for the last 3 years, and consistently, our breakfast is one of the best. So come and join us. You'll have a great time. We're looking forward to having you. What to do after breakfast? Fantastic. Food and beverage. We have 100 culinary experts that have been and are preparing for your arrival for Easter. Our entire experience, our entire goal is to make sure that when you arrive here at the Magdalena, that we will be offering you options throughout the day for food and beverage. So, you've done breakfast, what to expect? Our pool bar opens at 10 p.m. You can access the pool bar from the land or the sea. The pool access, what does that mean? I can swim up to the pool, sit down to benches in the pool, and order cocktails and drinks like no other.
Sounds like a bit of heaven.
Now, you've done the pool, you've had the beverages, the bartenders have told you what our best options are available. You tried them all, and now you're feeling fantastic, which is all goal. Now, on Saturday, the day after you've checked in, our team will offer you our barbecue buffet team. Options include all the delicacies that you've used to, including a few from the international perspective. When you've done dining, please join us at the Robinson Crusoe Pub. The Robinson Crusoe Pub is a bar that has been created from an old shipwreck. We have gathered all the pieces of wood and timber and nail to create a bar that is indicative of what you can expect from an experience on the ship, with all the props and photos to go with.
Now, with all of this, it has me wondering if Easter Sunday, which is known for just, you bring out some of the best food. I think it ties with Christmas morning, Christmas lunch and that sort of thing. Tell me you have something special for Easter morning.
I'm glad you asked that question. But before we go to Sunday, Saturday has a karaoke bar, has a carry your own key. Karaoke. Our winner for the night on Saturday will get a gift voucher for breakfast for two. A prize you can find nowhere else in Trinidad and Tobago, I assure you. So, you've done the karaoke, you've had a great time, and now you want to know what's going to happen on Sunday for Easter. Yeah. Sunday for Easter, following your full buffet breakfast, you still have some room for lunch. We're going to offer you options of a buffet brunch, which includes a little bit of combination between breakfast and brunch. And I guarantee you that every time you chew on that tasty morsel, that all you will be thinking, oh my God, when am I going to come back and stay here next? In addition to our buffet dining experience in the afternoons, our restaurants also include our Salaka restaurant, which is an outdoor dining on the beachfront. So you're there with your loved ones dining, and you can hear literally the waves crash next to you. If you're not the outdoorsy type, we also have our Kalina restaurant. Kalina restaurant offers an experience of fine dining, the best in Trinidad and Tobago, I dare say.
Well, viewers, I'm not too sure if you are hearing. Well, my God, I'm not just hearing, but I'm feeling the passion from Mr. Murray here as he's speaking about all the culinary delights that are going to be offered here at Magdalena. And guess what? I don't think he's done yet, because we still have Easter Monday and maybe Easter Tuesday to see about. So what do we have planned?
Oh my God. Please, guys, come prepared. We're going to have an action-packed weekend prepared for you. You've done Friday, you've done Saturday, you've done Sunday. What's happening on Monday? So, karaoke, or Robinson Crusoe Pub also offers theme night experiences. So, on Monday night, you can expect to experience our reggae night. Reggae night, what does that mean? It means that, first of all, we're going to invite all the reggae enthusiasts, all the Rastas, and maybe the borderhead Rastas like myself. All are welcomed.
Yeah, I mean, it seems as though you're preparing us for jazz at the same time.
I want to tell you this. Every night and every day you spend at Magdalena, there is something new to experience at the hotel. Never the same, everything new, everything fresh. So, you've done the reggae night on Tuesdays, on Monday, sorry. We also have on Sundays, couples nights. So all those guys that have neglected your ladies during the year, we're giving you a chance to come and share an experience with a special lady here at the Magdalena. Soft music, special cocktails. We don't do happy hours. We do happy 2 hours.
So maybe they can make up for messing up on Valentine's Day.
My lady, I'm a man. We are focused on making money to take care of our families. But I'll tell you this, where we've made short, we're going to make it right here in the Magdalena. And to make it work, the first thing you need to do is pick up your phone, call the Magdalena, make a reservation for the rooms, and once you get here, Troy and his team is going to be taking care of you for all the culinary experiences that I know you will enjoy.
Certainly. And then, of course, if people are not staying at the hotel but want to experience some of the events, are they free to come?
You've asked the perfect question. And the perfect answer is yes. Most of our guests are not staying at the hotel. And yes, we would like to invite Trinidad and Tobago to come and stay here at the Magdalena. Come and visit us for all the experiences that we have planned for the Easter. Bring the entire family. all are welcome.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Troy Murray. All right, viewers. So hopefully I got your appetite wet, right? And I mean, you get that stomach little craving some of those delights that are going to be happening here at the Magdalena Grand Hotel for Easter. So we're heading back on with Mr. Jason. So can you tell me about just how long have you stepped into this role and what's it been like just being able to manage this hotel?
Fantastic. I've been here in November, so this is just about entering into the 4th month. I mean, the team really came alive. Everything you see here was a matter of inclusion, team participation. The ideas were born in-house. The moral is really high, the team is enthusiastic, and for the returning guests who haven't come in a while, they will see the difference for themselves. And you know what? The only way to know, you have to book. Trinidad and Tobago, make sure you book. It's Easter, it's surprises. We won't tell you what it is. Check in first at Magdalena Grand. See you soon.
And then tell me about some of the vision that you have for this year, because it's a new year, it's 2023. I mean, there's a whole lot that's happening. So what do you envision for the rest of the year?
Okay, the history of this hotel is quite grand. Eh? I know many know it. My first agenda is to restore it to that grand. There are a lot of facilities it was built for. It's a business leisure hotel. And there are many different areas have been getting rebooted too. I could tell you, for example, when you enter in the hotel, right on the left, there's a little booth. It's a fishing booth. It will be restored. Okay? We're up to the north wing. We actually have a diving pool. It's currently under renovation. Before the end, we want to see that pool reopen. And that's because the Manta Lodge is open. The niche market dive industry will return. We want to be ready. Good? We have a tennis court on the south wing. Some of the guests who not into the heavy sports and probably like not too much pain on the leg, it's a soft court, nice area there. And then we have our grand golf course. It's an 18 PGA golf course. We intend to host a large tournament here in the month of July. And then in August will be a super large event, Commonwealth. We will be the home to Commonwealth right here in Tobago.
So a lot of great things to come at the Magdalena Grand Hotel. But of course, naturally, you have to get connected and you have to get your bookings done in for Easter. I mean, you've heard about the rooms, you heard about the food, you heard about the events. So you want to make sure you have your reservation because I know everybody's going to be rushing to book. So don't waste time, make your bookings, and come and enjoy Easter. All right, so that's it from me, Candace Jackson, for this segment of the Tobago Updates Morning Show. Don't go anywhere because there's a whole lot coming up for you after the break.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning.
Viewers, welcome back this morning to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. We're still here live at the Magdalena Grand Beach Resort and Spa, and it's a beautiful morning outside. We are chatting at this time with Lisa Agar, the CEO of TSTT, and she's one of the presenters here at this forum. Lisa, good morning and welcome to you.
Good morning, Ria. It's a delight to be on Tobago Updates Morning Edition in this glorious atmosphere with birds singing in the background.
Certainly not in the office, right?
Exactly. and more importantly, not in traffic.
Not stuck in traffic, that's right. You're here in beautiful Tobago. Now, we're talking this morning about empowering women and women in tech. As a woman in tech, what are some of the challenges that you faced and how did you overcome them?
That's an excellent question, Ria. And sometimes to treat with questions like that, we need to contextualize the problem and understand the depth of the challenges that we face in this industry and in the tech industry generally. Of course, we don't have stats from Trinidad and Tobago, but there's a lot of very critical data out of the United States. So as an example, 47% of adults working in the United States are women, but only 28% of them occupy IT or mathematical roles. And when you dig into the layers, you find that over the past 35 years, in fact, the ratio of men to women in tech has actually declined. And over 50% of them leave the tech workforce at age 35. And there are lots of reasons for those gaps. There's, culture in the workplace gaps. There are promotion gaps. There are discrimination gaps. And so for women in my space and in my industry and in tech generally, I would say three things have served me very well in terms of treating with the challenges and the inherent biases against women. And I would say those three things are: be excellent. In anything that you do, be excellent. Your quality will shine through. Lean in. Sheryl Sandberg, the former COO of Facebook, talked about women leaning into traditional roles in tech held by men. And then the third thing that I would say is be a trusted partner and trusted support, either with people in your organization or outside.
And I like what you said there. I like what you said, and those are some really encouraging words. And let me ask you, but you're now a woman in tech. Is this what you always dreamt of? Is this where you saw yourself?
Ria, I fell into tech entirely by accident. I am a lawyer by training and profession, and I had been working in the Cayman Islands in the legal department for government. And a job came up with Cable and Wireless, and I was not interested in the job because it was in telecommunications. I was interested in the job because it was a regional Caribbean role, and I am wholly dedicated to the Caribbean. And I thought, what a wonderful opportunity for me to be in a role that I can contribute to the Caribbean. And I literally fell into tech by accident. I remember the Chief Justice in Cayman Islands at the time. He was so upset with me because, he was, Lisa, you could be a judge. Why are you leaving, legal practice to go into a technology job? And I said, because I'm committed to the Caribbean, and this is an opportunity for me to play a role and to contribute to the development of the region.
And I love that. You're committed. What advice would you give to women and girls considering careers in tech?
So first of all, one of the interesting things, again, coming out of data in the United States is that only 25% of the graduates in tech are women. And that's an essential building block. So you have to pursue, at a minimal, degree and qualifications in some kind of technology. And I would say as well, not just women in tech. I recently came back from a huge conference in Barcelona called Mobile World Congress, where all of the big telcos and developers have exhibitions and, their featured addresses and so forth. The technology that's coming down the pike is overwhelming. There is R&D happening right now in the world where there's an entire port, there's one man, and everything else is operated by artificial intelligence and robots. There are robots doing robotic surgeries. So that, requires us really to have a very deeper discussion about how we educating all of our young people, not just women, men as well. Are we really creating an environment that is looking to the future and looking at the jobs that will be available in the future?
Of course, some of them are definitely going to be obsolete.
Absolutely. And that is why we have to prepare for this world that we are in. And it's not as if it's something that's 10, 15 years down the road. It is with us now.
So we've got to be ready. Now, this is a two-part question. What needs to be done to get more women interested in pursuing careers in tech? And do you see a role for men to play?
So, as I said, from an education level, definitely pursue degrees that are tech related. Now, of course, given my own experience, tech is not an essential prerequisite. I did law, and I was given the opportunity by mentors in the past to go into commercial roles and other roles in tech. Look for mentors, whether they're men or whether they're women, somebody who will take you under their wing and bring you up and give you the opportunity, and most importantly, that will give you the opportunity to fail and start again and succeed. So look for mentors, educate yourself in technology, and from time to time, be bold. Ask for what you want.
Some seriously good advice. As a society, what needs to be done for us to see more women in leadership positions?
I think in Trinidad and Tobago, we're quite fortunate to have quite a few women occupying very senior positions in this society. Only this week, we created history again by inaugurating our 7th president of Trinidad and Tobago, who is a woman. We have many women in ministerial positions. The gap, in my view, in Trinidad and Tobago is in industry. We do not have as many CEOs in industry across the board who are female. It's predominantly men. So I think the challenge for us as a country is how can we systematically involve women, promote women, build an environment which encourages them to become CEOs, to occupy really the top echelons of industry, from a leadership perspective. It's really hard, and again, I think women need to lean in a little bit and occupy their rightful places at the upper echelons of industry in Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay, thank you. And how do you combat biases in the tech industry, especially as a female CEO?
Be excellent. Always strive. I have a little expression that I use, that I say, we encounter so much mediocrity in our lives in Trinidad and Tobago. And if in our own space we aspire to be oases of excellence in deserts of mediocrity, we will always succeed and we will always shine. So that is what you have to do. Your worth, your value will manifest itself.
I think I should be writing all of this down. And finally here, what motivates you every day? What encourages you to get up and get out of bed and go do what you do every day?
Ria, I asked myself this question on Monday gone. The challenges are overwhelming. And I think when you contextualize the challenges of our industry alone in the context of a society where there's so much negativity, there's so much visceral conduct, there is so much anger. We look at the depth of the societal problem. Some days is really difficult to get up and go to work. And then I happened to be at an event earlier in this week, and this person encapsulated the approach to waking up every day and doing it the right way. And she said, I have a profound belief in light over dark, a profound belief, lightness over darkness. And so that resonated so strongly with me. We must constantly do the right thing, always make the right decisions, and we will be motivated. For 2023, I have developed a little motto: tiny acts, tiny wins. I'm not going to solve all the problems in a day, but I'm going to take tiny problems and solve them every day. And I know that over time, those tiny acts are going to result in huge wins.
Definitely. I think that's an excellent note to end there on. But just very, very quickly here, your 3 words of advice, as you mentioned earlier, they were be excellent.
Yes, be excellent,
lean in,
and be a trusted partner.
Be a trusted partner. Excellent. A great note to end this morning's interview on. So thank you so much for chatting with us this morning, Lisa Agard, CEO, TSTT. Viewers, thank you so much for joining us for this segment here, for this session of Tobago Updates Morning Show. But we've got GMT coming up with Candace. So stay where you are. Remember, we're coming to you live this morning from the Magdalena Grand. You don't want to miss it. Lots happening down here, even as we speak. A lot of the vendors are setting up because the conference is set to start in just a few more minutes. So we want to thank you even as we head on over to Candace and GMT. Have a great day, Tobago. Have a safe weekend, and we will see you on Monday. Bye-bye, everybody.
THA is preparing for the implementation of the National Policy on Sexual Harassment in the Workplace. In doing so, HR managers, officers, and supervisors from both the public and private sectors participating in a seminar hosted by the Department of Labor.
Public-private partnerships has to be established to build capacity and increase resources, especially when considering how diverse the island of Tobago has now become. This partnership plays a pivotal role in generating, transferring knowledge to all people, employees, employers, and students.
By the time we get to 18, 20, 30, 40, 50, it is even more difficult to understand that consent is something that can be given, and consent is something that can be taken away, even in the midst of it.
We have had all of this in it. Females usually sexually harass men, and we all laugh about it. I experienced that in one of my workplaces. If you're having a consensual relationship and somebody broke it off, you cannot now come and claim that the person sexually harassed you, because it was welcome and it was reciprocated. So it's not sexual harassment. When the act is assented to, there will be some definite responsibilities that the employer will be mandated to do within a specified time frame, right? So you have to formulate a written policy statement against sexual harassment within the workplace. Bring the policy statement to the attention of every member of staff.
The seminar was hosted at the Magdalena Grand Beach and Golf Resort.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up and look.
is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look out below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look out below, 'cause this is your show. Live more.
October will never be better with Tobago Carnival fever. Okay, passage and come on over. We live where you vacation. Come let we go, come let we go, come let we go to sweet Tobago. Come let we go, come till you know. Come find your soul in sweet Tobago. Come let we go, come let we go, come let we go to sweet Tobago. Come let we go, come till you know. Come find your soul in sweet Tobago.
Yeah. Hey.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denise here.
Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion starts.
Welcome to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region, with the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine. I am Candace Jackson, and viewers, we are coming to you live from the Magdalena Grand Hotel, where we are here for, of course, the Tourism Women's Forum. I mean, so many interesting things that are happening here this morning, but of course, I want to say a special good morning to you, especially good morning to some people locked on all the way up in Bahamas. Yes, because of course we know we are Tobago Updates and we are all over the Caribbean, and we are so happy that you all are joining us from wherever you are. Now, as following from Ria and Julian this morning, as you know, that we are discussing all things women this morning as it relates to the Tourism Women's Forum. And on with me, I am being joined by Miss Judith Coward, and she is a Chief Content Strategist and Head of Digital Marketing and Storytelling at Forward 40. Quite a massive portfolio you have there.
Yeah,
good morning.
It's quite a mouthful,
Yes.
but I really enjoy it. And thanks for
Thanks for having me, and thank you to the Sunshine for cooperating this morning, right?
Yes, so you do a lot of work on, digital and social media and that sort of thing. And of course, this is very pertinent because when you look at the theme for this year's International Women's Day, it's in regards to, pushing women more into that digital world and getting us more acquainted with it. And we know that there has been some issues in the past, and women have not been quite at the forefront. So you definitely want to see women there.
Yeah, I think that is slightly changing. I think that in a post-pandemic world, what we have seen is the emergence of female entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And globally, there has been 30% of small businesses and micro businesses are owned by women. And I think in the past, to be seen as a woman owning your business and to be at the forefront of tech, you were seen as slightly as an anomaly. But today, when I meet women across all different stratas and, and I ask, what do you do? And I'm like, I own my own business, or I'm doing this. And whether it's home-based or you have an office or you're working by yourself or you have a team, I think now the whole ecosystem of women owning their own businesses, it's no longer a strange thing to hear,
Now, I want to break down your portfolio for a bit because, like I said, it was quite a bit of a mouthful. Now, you are, first of all, a chief content strategist.
Yeah.
Now, for those watching and not quite familiar, what does this entail?
So I use content to build community, and then I am able to use that community to then sell my products and services to. So the most important thing about social media is that sometimes there's a focus on the person, the person behind the business.
That sort of influencers kind of style.
Right. Well, not even influencers, right? We're talking about the female entrepreneur who has a purpose, and that purpose is to take risks and to be able to grow a business and to be able to sell your products and services to the world. So how does that happen through content? Well, through content, you're able to tell people about what you do, who you are, your values, your business, take them behind the scenes, and then what you're doing is you're building a community. And then, having built a community, now we have to use strategy.
Yes.
How do we use, and because we've added so much value to their lives, by educating them, inspiring them, transforming them, amusing them, then how can we take the community that we have built and now offer our products and services to them? And in that very direct manner, we're using content to build a business.
And let us talk a little about, some of the issues that come up, even like, having women more in that world of content creating and so on. Because a lot of times, like when you look on social media, you see women there and, it's almost like always beauty and sort of trivial sort of things.
Yeah.
But the truth is there is a space for women when it comes to more serious and more hard-hitting things. I mean, men, when they're out there, they seem to get more,
Well, let's not knock beauty, right?
Yes.
Because the beauty entrepreneurs and the fashion entrepreneurs are killing it. And they're making money doing what they do best, right? Which is sell lifestyle, sell cosmetics, if they do it right. But I do think that there is a space, and it is fully occupied by women as well. Not fully, but really dominated by women as well, to use storytelling, to use compelling stories to be able to connect not with the person next to you, not with the person a few feet from you, but with people around the world. And I think that it's important that we see digital marketing and we use content as the conduit to build community, and having built the community, we can then parlay our products and services to any part of the world. I like to think of, I always say that I think of social media as a buffet table. And I think I'm going to mention this in the forum today, is that, as women, we like to maintain a certain physique and we want to be attractive, and we're like, you know what, I am not going to the buffet table. I'm going to go to the buffet table with a small plate. And I'm going to say to you, if you're using social media, I want you to go with the biggest plate. And I want you to go with the biggest spoon. And I want you to be greedy. And I want you to sample everything, because nowhere in time in no period in time have we been at a place where small business entrepreneurs can use all these free tools, and I'm putting that in inverted commas because we do have to spend a lot of time and sometimes resources, but they're basically free platforms where we can reach customers wherever they are. And I think that is so crucial in understanding the connection between content and getting your products and services out there.
And there's a difference between digitization and social media marketing, right?
Yeah.
Now, what's that difference?
Well, if I could break it down really simply, because it kind of gets technical.
Yes, it does.
Content for me, and I guess everybody has their own definition, but social is about content and it's about community building. And some people think that if I'm building a social media platform and I have 10,000, 20,000, a million followers, then that's great. What they fail to realize is that you have to take your followers from the social media platforms, because you don't, as entrepreneurs, we don't own those social media platforms. Those platforms are owned by the Mark Zuckerbergs and the Elon Musks of the world. But you know what you own? You own your own database. You own your own newsletter. You own your own blog. You own your own podcast. So the idea is to move those followers, which are potential customers, to move them from the social spaces and those social platforms onto your own databases. And then having them there allows you to market to them directly without using social media.
Yes.
Right? And be able to measure, this is where coding and the technical stuff comes in, and allow you to measure who is opening the mail, what are they looking at, can I upsell them, can I cross-sell them, can I downsell them.
And women can do that.
Absolutely. Now, no woman is an island unto herself. The great thing about being in this space is that you can literally hire remote workers from any part of the world where the labor is cheap but the service exceptional, and be able slowly, month by month, I say day by day, week by week, month by month, to be able to transform, not just and focus on social, but to transform it in a absolutely wonderful way that brings you revenue and earns you profit.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about another part of your portfolio, and that has to do with storytelling. So, I mean, and I know that's sort of deviating a little bit from this topic, but...
Oh, no, it's not. It's, Candice, it is not. The best storytellers are the best content creators. The best storytellers use stories to connect. And we're not talking about every single time the content of the stories you're telling has to be how wonderful you are, how beautiful you are, how wonderful business is going. In fact, sometimes vulnerability and the ability to say that this is a struggle and I'm building this and this is the hardship I faced and how did I overcome it, to be able to tell compelling stories that people can identify with, connect with, and see themselves in your stories.
Yes.
Because everybody's going through some kind of mud to get to the other side. We're all navigating murky waters to get to the other side. And so the ability to tell stories that connects, transforms, educates, inspires, the ability to tell stories that connect to your consumer pain points. So people say, oh my gosh, you have exactly what I was searching for. You have the exact same product that I was searching for. You know, I saw you on the plane. And I said to myself, oh my gosh, what a beautiful girl. And look at how she's wearing her boots. I love your boots, right? I love the gold buckle.
I love my boots.
I love
Yes.
the way you have your jeans right above your boots.
Yes.
Now, suppose you were a boot seller, right? Suppose you were a boot seller. And I was not next to you, but I was living in, let's say I was living in the Bahamas, right? And you showed me how to wear your boots. You talked about fashion retailers killing it, right?
Yes.
You showed me how to wear boots, and you showed me the different styles. And you told me about how that boot production, how you had to source the raw materials in, I don't know, Nigeria, how it was difficult, the pain that you went through. But you know what? You are a survivor, you're a female entrepreneur, and you, despite it all, are getting your products out there. You know what's going to happen? Through your stories, I'm going to come to know you.
Yes.
I'm going to get to like you. I'm going to come to trust you. and eventually I'm going to become your customer and I'm going to buy from you. So compelling stories matter, and we need to tell more of them all the time.
And women, we are natural storytellers.
Oh, yes, absolutely, absolutely. We are born, I mean, we are the communicators, right? You know, I was looking at Jane Fonda and what she was saying about women, and she was saying that how men are very outward looking. They look at the car and they look at another woman, they're like, woo, right? And they look at sports. And we are more inward looking because we connect to each other and we say to each other, I see you. And we may say, oh, I need help. Or can you show me? And we are natural in the way we communicate. We are natural in the way we bond together. I know there's this pervasive thought that women are each other's worst enemy, but in my experience, it's women who have lifted me up. It's women who have supported my business and my dreams. It's women who have formed a community around me. So I think, storytelling, going back to your question, is super important, and we do it pretty well.
All right, great. Now we're getting ready to wrap up here with this interview. But I mean, what is a message that you want women to leave after they finish with this conference that's going to be taking place in just a short time?
I think as female entrepreneurs, it gets to be lonely. And sometimes we don't feel as if we have enough access to finance, to loans, to markets. And what we do is we get discouraged and we quit. So I want to say to those who are watching and happen to run small businesses and micro businesses, that it is inside of you to be able to find your voice, since we're talking in the space of digital, to find your voice, to use it effectively, and to build a brand that connects with other human beings who want what you have to sell.
That's just perfect. Perfect way to sum it all up. I want to thank you so much, Ms. Cohen, for being on with us and giving us that perspective. But viewers, don't go anywhere because we've got a lot more coming up for you on GMT. So we'll be back right after this break.
Advertise with Tobago Updates. Call 284-6597. If you have a small or large business, we can get your information in front of the masses. Reach our rapidly growing viewership on Facebook and YouTube. Promote your brand in Trinidad and the Caribbean through M&E TV Now and Gayel. Yes, we can build unique ads for your business. Call now 284-6597 and advertise with us.
Tobago, it's time to go.
Tobago, here's the real deal. Nothing sweeter than when your internet fast all day, every day. I telling you, it's real nice when your home internet and TV package fit your budget. Well, if that's what you want, you're safe with Digicel Plus. Sign up or switch to Digicel Plus now and pay $0 for 1 month. Plus, plans start as low as $199 and you get installed for free. Visit digiceltt.com or a Digicel store now.
Never ever worry, don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry if your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil will always be here for you.
Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Service.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Full disclosure with the executive every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on Tobago Updates. Real questions and honest conversations with the sole aim of keeping you fully in the know. Full disclosure with the executive every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on Tobago Updates.
Well, viewers, you are continuing to join us live here at the Magdalena Grand Hotel, where we are here for the Tourism Women's Forum. Of course, a conference put on by the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation. As we continue to celebrate International Women's Day, although it was on March 8th, it is to be celebrated all month. In fact, every day of the year. Now, I am being joined by Ms. Chanel Smith, and she is the Dean of Academic Services at the Tobago Hospitality and Tourism Institute. And yes, so she's a researcher with the tertiary level educator for hospitality, tourism, event management, entrepreneurship, having designed and delivered courses in several higher education institutions throughout Trinidad and Tobago, and many, many other things. Too much to mention right now. Good morning and welcome to you, Ms. Smith. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I'm doing well. How are you?
I am great. Now, when we talk about, pushing women more into the digital world and encouraging more equity where that's concerned, education comes to the forefront. And of course, it's just interesting that the Division of Tourism chose to host this forum on women in tourism, a tourism women's forum, and of course mixed in with that push towards the digital world and so on. Where do you see education, especially tourism education, fitting into all of this?
Yeah, we know Tobago right now is at a really pivotal point where tourism development is concerned. And I feel as if we've had this notion running for a really long time where we think as tourism not necessarily being an academic discipline, but the reality is it very much is. There's a lot of theory-based input that goes within the tourism development. And at THCI, where I work, we really consider how academics play a very vital role in terms of contributing to the industry by large. I think within the last 2 years or so, we've gone through a really massive transformation,
yes.
Especially where it relates to education taking a more digital role, and we've seen tremendous benefits where that is concerned.
Now, what do we see as some of the most important things in the tourism industry where that we need to consider where technology and digitization is concerned?
Oh, that's a really good question. And the reality is we are seeing tourism becoming a very digital or virtual industry. A few years ago, you would not have seen people buying virtual tours on Amazon. That is a thing now. You would not have seen robots functioning across hotels. That is a thing now. So within various aspects of the industry, we're seeing more and more that level of innovation, that level of digitization being embedded within different operational aspects of hospitality and tourism. So it's necessary that the training now changes to reflect and accommodate these different needs.
Right. And then, what are some of the things that you think that we are missing and we are not grasping here in Tobago as tourism as a whole changes?
As a researcher by profession, I really believe, I feel really strongly that data-driven decisions are what we need in terms of shaping any decision that comes forward. So I would really love to see Tobago adopt a more research-focused culture. And I attended a meeting recently with the Tobago Tourism Agency. The chairman there would have been giving a lot of discussions about this rollout of more digitization and data collection. And I was quite happy to see that that was the slant being taken. I feel having that premise where we know for sure what the needs of tourists are, what their experiences have been, what their preferences are, we can now really start thinking about tailoring a tourism product that really is responsive to meet these demands.
And how can THTI fall into that space? What is the role that THTI can play in making sure that we, as we try to revive, in a sense, our tourism industry, as we try to push that forward, how can THTI position our people so that we are more data-driven, we are more research-driven, and that we embrace that technology?
Yeah, I'm happy. I think that is exactly what our mandate is right now. We are going through such big shifts at THTI right now, especially where it concerns students and the way we think about course design, syllabi design, and we are thinking very heavily about filling these gaps, doing our research as well internally, trying to understand what the industry needs maybe, and thinking about how the curricula could really be reformatted, redesigned to make education and experience that is a lot more accessible, where students are getting the competencies that are relevant to the field, so that when they leave THTI, we want to instill in them a culture where education is really something that is lifelong, encouraging them to really seek further opportunities, encouraging them to work in sectors where they could apply the knowledge that they've learned. And digitization really is something that we are seeing makes such changes very possible and easily accommodated.
Now, are we seeing our people being receptive to that sort of education, or even the idea of how important it is for data to be collected before decisions can be made?
I think culturally we may not necessarily appreciate that it is something valuable. The people who may be very instrumental in terms of having these changes or making policy design, once there is a robust system where communication is concerned, I think that helps in terms of generating a culture that is more inclusive, more understanding, more appreciative of the realities of data. So in other words, we need to move beyond the idea that we just collect surveys and then we store this data on our computers and we go on to the next project. That implementation is something that we need to have at our core. When we collect this information, what happens next? How do we disseminate that information to the wider public? What are the plans and initiatives coming forth from that data that's collected? And I feel very strongly that once people have an idea that there are positive changes being realized based on the research that is coming forward, it develops a greater appreciation and willingness to support such initiatives.
Right, and then, is THTI focusing also on getting our women educated, especially where those things are concerned?
Yes, we have a substantial female population at THTI, but apart from that, one of the initiatives we are thinking about doing very soon would really be carrying education to communities, particularly looking at rural communities in Tobago. And that initiative is going to focus on us going into these spaces, liaising with village council members, finding out, what women in these rural communities need. And we have seen with this pandemic, we have seen very clearly that people for the first time have had opportunities to go back to school because it's now offered online. And with these types of changes, you really start to appreciate just how much accessible education can really make a difference. So our focus is really looking at these rural communities, how we can get professional courses within these spaces and give people the opportunity, especially women, single mothers, probably mature women who've never had the opportunity for formal schooling, giving them, an opportunity to really capitalize on such.
Certainly. And as we're getting ready to wrap up this conversation, now give me an idea of what is your focus, what is your message that you will be given to the women that are going to be here at this forum?
My presentation today, which I'm really excited to deliver, is going to talk about education, digital education specifically, and how that could be used to transform change within the tourism industry. There are lots of debates about whether or not people prefer, in-person instruction versus online instruction, and I'm hoping my presentation sheds some light so that we can all leave today having a better appreciation as to what benefits come forward from digital education and how we could leverage those things to boost tourism locally.
And certainly before we go, you have to tell people how they can get connected with THDI and why they should enroll.
THDI has been a wonderful experience. I've been there since 2019. We are the only accredited hospitality and tourism institute. And apart from that, it's a wonderful environment, both from the standpoint of being a worker there as well as students. We provide opportunities for internships for our students. And I think now we are very close to rolling out our bachelor's programs, our BBA programs, which I foresee being something of tremendous benefit to the residents in Tobago. You can go and visit us on Facebook. We're also on Instagram. Reach out, our marketing team. They're always very much available and willing to connect, to provide information regarding our courses. And if time permits, you're always more than free to come to our institute. I'd love to show you all around.
Certainly. And of course, folks, got to get engaged with the tourism study because tourism is not something that we can take lightly. We have to be serious when we look at how we're going to grow this sector, how we're going to develop Tobago for the future.
Agreed, definitely.
All right. I want to thank you so much, Ms. Smith, for being on with us and for giving us your perspective on, this International Women's Day, this forum here. There's a lot of action happening. There's a lot of people rolling in. Things are getting exciting here. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back right after this commercials.
Thank you for having me.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show.
Morning, rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise. The energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power, we are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers, we are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying. Tobago is number one. You and you are me. Together we strong.
Was all in recognition of International Women's Day, with that focus of digit all, you know, pushing women more into the world of technology and so on, and making sure that there is equity, because yes, there's space for women too. Now, joining me for this last segment is Dr. Alina Williams, and of course she's a clinical psychologist, very well known in this space. Good morning and welcome to you.
Thank
Dr.
you,
Alina.
Candice. Thank you. I know, right? Alina is fine, Dr. Williams, anything.
Yes.
But thank you, Candice, for having me, and it's nice to be here. Good morning, Tobago.
Good morning. Now, you know, as we're talking about encouraging women more into this online world, because there's so many opportunities for women.
Yes.
There's so many ways that we can grow, develop ourselves, but there's bad that comes with it as well.
Definitely.
So I want to talk a little bit about that in terms
Yes.
of, you know, how does, you know, the things that we face online, social media, how does that affect our mental health?
So what we know is that the increased use of social media has led to two things that particularly affect women's mental health. One, the frequent use of sites like Instagram has led to a lot of comparisons where women compare their lives to perfectly curated pictures on the internet of people maybe at the gym or having their best life, or even new mothers compare their postpartum period to women that are enjoying motherhood, enjoying the baby perfectly sleeping. So we've seen a rise in both depression and anxiety disorders as a result. But we also noticed that more and more women are having body image issues.
Yes.
So there is a disorder known as body dysmorphia, where women look at themselves but they don't see the reality of how they look. They might see themselves as bigger than they actually are, or there are some cases where women see that they have acne or some deformity when none actually exists. And this is because they are obsessed with looking at perfect pictures of women that are posed perfectly.
With filters.
With filters, etc. But you know, even though we know that is the reality, unconsciously and even consciously, we can't help but compare what we see to who we are. So that's one issue we've noticed. The second thing we've noticed is an increase in loneliness. Now, that's surprising because technology is meant to connect, right? So what we found is that having Facebook friends, having multiple followers does not translate to quality relationships in real life. So people have 4,000 Facebook friends, but when things get bad, they actually have one, even none, that they could reach out to, that they could connect with. And we've cases where people don't have that social support and they are struggling by themselves. But of course, on social media, a lot of people put on this facade that all is well, you post your best, you don't post when you're struggling, when things are bad. Even when people post, you know, I woke up like this, they've already put on a full face of makeup. They did not wake up like that.
I posts and I'm like, this is such a lie.
Yes.
No one wakes up like that.
Exactly. So we found that if not used carefully, social media, even technology, has the potential to really erode a person's mental health, but women in particular are being affected just because of the content that they might follow.
And when you think about just the way how social media is designed,
Yes.
you post something and you want to get those likes, and every
Yes.
time there's an addition,
Yes.
or there's a comment about that's complimenting the way you look and stuff like that.
Yes.
That does something to your brain.
And I'm glad you said it does something to your brain, because it actually does something to your brain. So anytime we receive a like, even when we get a ping on our phone, it actually causes the release of a chemical in our brain called dopamine, which is the reward chemical, so to speak. And that chemical is also released when we do things like pleasurable activity, like have sex or eat chocolate. So imagine something that is on your phone causing that same chemical reaction, and that's why some people, when they don't get likes, they would delete the picture, or they get their validation only through that interaction on social media. But it's not a very deep and fulfilling sort of interaction. It's very superficial. So you post more and you post more, and you're looking for that high constantly. And yes, some people live their entire lives on social media.
Almost like an addiction.
Definitely, there is social media addiction.
So how can women now balance that? Because I mean, as women, we want to feel liked. We want to feel like we are beautiful and that we are attractive.
Yes.
So how do we balance this? And how do we stay away from the toxic nature that can cause?
So I would always tell women, unfollow pages that make you feel bad about yourself. And it doesn't have to come with any negativity. It's just that sometimes looking at certain things, the period of life that you are in is not good for your mental health. So when I was, newly postpartum, I just unfollowed a lot of the gym pages I used to follow, because I couldn't be at the gym, I couldn't be working out, I couldn't be doing those things, and it made me feel a type of way. So I just unfollowed. The other thing is to really focus on getting validation from yourself. You want to focus on being the one to uplift yourself. Yes, external validation is beautiful, but the true source of validation should come from within, and how you feel about yourself. And then also, I think, Candice, that a lot of times we have to be very mindful of the time that we spend on social media, because social media is meant to get you into a sort of routine where you're just clicking and clicking. You go on for 5 minutes, but then you end up scrolling for an hour or more. So unplugging is important. We need to set limits to our social media use, our technology use on a whole, and we need to unplug. Technology is a wonderful thing, but even using it before bed has been found to impact sleep, because screens emit blue light, and blue light stops the production of melatonin, which is a hormone in our brain released to signal it's time to go to bed. So when your eyes detect blue light, it's essentially sending a signal to the brain that it's supposed to stay up. That's why they say an hour before bed, put away your devices. Of course, in the way we are, everything is on our device. Yeah, work is on our device, connection is on our device, learning opportunities are on our, we read books now on our devices, but we do have to learn to disengage and unplug when it's time.
Now, I want to talk about another issue that comes up when we talk about, just the life online.
Yes.
And that is, when there is revenge porn.
Oh my.
And
yeah.
I mean, just these things, the cyberbullying that goes on, the posts that people make against each other. And sometimes it's women. It seems as though women get more negative attention on social media than the men do.
Yeah. And misery likes company. What I've seen a lot in Tobago, Candice, I could be wrong, but what I've seen a lot in Tobago is the rise of fake profiles. And this has given a lot of people liberty to say and do what they want recklessly. We have to be so cautious about what we say to other people online. I think the online presence gives people a sense of safety, because they're not face to face with the person. And cyberbullying is a big thing. And we have to be very mindful of the impact that it has on people's mind. There are people that end up feeling suicidal sometimes because of what is posted about them online, or the fact that some people say things online as if it's factual, and it's just hearsay, it's just an opinion. So definitely, people need to be, and social media etiquette is perhaps something that needs to be taught to young children, because they're young people posting things out online without recognizing the consequences of it. And I read an article from a HR manager. She actually said that when they're hiring people, they do go through the person's social media profile just to get a sense of what kind of person this is. And I think a lot of people don't realize that what they post has a potential to affect whether they get a job or not, whether they're respected as an individual or not. So people just very much need to be mindful and develop more social media etiquette.
And how do women protect themselves? Like when they are a victim
Yes.
of certain things like that, like I said, the revenge porn
Yeah.
and those attacks on social media, how do you, as a woman, protect yourself? Because it seems as though the world sometimes might be coming down on you.
Yes, yes. So definitely during those times your mental health is so important, and you have to hold on to your stability rocks in those times. If a woman is ever in the unfortunate position where she's the target of a social media attack, whether it's revenge porn or anything else, just being in the political life, for example, makes you a target. You have to hold on to the people that are close to you, the people that support you. Disengaging, unplugging is healthy. You don't have to respond to everything that you're called to. Sometimes,
You need to repeat that.
yes, you don't have to respond to everything that you're called to. Sometimes you just have to allow things to unfold while you do your part to protect yourself. If that includes engaging in spirituality, doing things that help, and everything is a learning lesson. I agree with Kizelle Jackson when she said everything that negative that happens is an opportunity to learn. We do have to learn from these things, and those things could only make you wiser if you take heart of it. But definitely unplug, don't respond to everything, and stick to the people that support you, stick to the sources of genuine love for you.
All right, well, Dr. Williams, I mean, you sort of summed everything up in a nice, neat nutshell,
Yeah.
because it certainly are things that we need to consider
Yes.
as we are pushing more. I mean, we can't fight
Yes.
the online presence
That's
because we
right.
need it to function.
Yes.
But our mental health,
Yeah.
women, we need to check our mental health at the end of the day and do what
Definitely.
we need to do to
Yes.
stay healthy.
Yes, yes, for sure. And just take stock of how you feel before and after being on social media, and be mindful of who you follow, who you engage with. Even if you see something negative or something untrue, don't engage. There are many times I start typing something and then I backspace. You know, I'm like, is this worth it? Is this worth my peace of mind? No. And another thing, you cannot convince anybody of anything on social media. When people are on social media, their opinion is already formed. Social media is not the place to engage in healthy debate. So sometimes you just have to walk away, leave things alone. But the rise of the fake profiles, I don't know, that's something that we need to do something about for sure.
I mean, like you said, like it's a huge battle.
Yes.
And sometimes people take these things as fact.
Yes.
And it just spreads like wildfire.
Definitely. Yeah, for sure.
So it's like, it's almost like, how do you find that?
Yeah, it's very difficult. And that's why some people just don't put anything on social media at all, because it's a very scary place to be. 1 minute you could be laughing at something, and then the other minute you become the target of some big scandal that erupts. It's so amazing how social media flips, right? And because the friendships or the connections aren't genuine, sometimes you could have a connection on social media and that same person is speaking ill of you and you're Facebook friends with them, for example. So again, we have to focus on quality relationships, not quantity relationships, and use social media to your advantage. There are many advantages: connecting with people in another country or even learning information. Social media has its benefits there, but we have to be mindful of our own individual use, because you can't be responsible for my mental health where social media is concerned, and vice versa. I have to take stock of that.
Now, I want to spend a couple minutes. You mentioned Kizelle Jackson just
Yeah.
earlier, and we've watched it. We watched the whole bacchanal unfold.
Yes.
And what is your take on just even how she has been able to handle herself?
Yes.
Because I think there are some messages in there for women
Yeah.
who have dealt with that sort of bullying and that sort of thing.
So, the way she coped with it is very different to how somebody else may have coped with it. So, for example, even for me, I would have disconnected, I would have come off, I would have probably withdrawn, and that doesn't necessarily mean I am depressed or anything, but I would have disconnected. She chose instead to use it as an opportunity, maybe to speak out, maybe to sort of bring to awareness certain situations like revenge porn and how dangerous it could be.
Yes.
But also it was a source of comfort for her too, because there were people on her side. There was validation she was receiving. And despite all the differences in opinions, whether she is right or wrong in her approach to it, it was what worked for her. And she, at the end of the day, had a positive message in that she said this is an opportunity for her to learn from the mistakes that she's made. And I think that's good.
And then what was interesting too is that she continued to engage, trying to help out and reach out to people that are less fortunate than her.
Exactly. It did not stop her, and she demonstrated good resiliency in that respect. And I think despite the fact that she was on social media, she also did a lot of other things to help her. She mentioned going back to prayer, praying a lot, waking up and reading her Bible. She mentioned talking to her friends and family that are close to her. So she definitely utilized some good strategies. All in all, it was a very unfortunate scenario, how everything unfolded in the public eye, how everything came out. It was very disgraceful, very distasteful. But I think she used it in a way to at least make herself feel better.
I want you to also mention, as we're getting ready to wrap up here, about the importance of journaling.
Yes.
Because many times we are not able to speak to people, other people, about the situations, or you might have fears in expressing your real emotions.
Yes.
And so speak to us a little bit on, the importance of journalism in terms of helping with your mental health.
So journaling is extremely important. In fact, it's something I recommend to my clients all the time, regardless of what they might be facing. And it's more so if you feel like you don't have social support, if you feel like you can't trust anybody, journaling is a way that the brain is able to express what it's feeling, what it's going through. It helps to sort of make your thoughts more coherent. Even if it's jumbled initially, you find that the more you write, the more you're able to organize and process things. And sometimes that is what we need in order to move forward from situations or in order to deal with situations. Keeping our thoughts in our head does nothing for us. It just cycles on and on. But when we write it, when we say it, then that expression of it allows us to make sense of it. Because sometimes, have you ever said something, like thought something, but then when you said it out loud, it didn't make sense?
Not sound good
Exactly.
at all.
And that happens in writing too. You write something down, and when you reread it, it's like, am I really making a big deal out of this? Am I being rational here? Am I this? Am I that? And that opportunity allows you to process things. So it's a very healthy, engaging activity.
All right. I want to thank you so much, Dr. Williams, for
Thank
being on
you.
with us. And of course, she is one of the speakers here for the Tourism Women's Forum as we focus on women moving into the digital world and creating equity where that's concerned. So thank you again, Dr.
Thank you
Williams.
again, Candice, for having me.
All right, viewers, so that's how we're going to have to wrap this morning show as the sun is coming down very, very hot and warm over us. We want to thank you for joining us from wherever you are in the world, and have a wonderful, safe, and productive day. Have a wonderful weekend as well, because it is Friday. I kept forgetting that today is Friday, but it is Friday, so have some fun, get some relaxation in, and get ready to be productive again for the next week. All right, so see you on Monday.
Thank you. Gosh, yes, I was like, oh my gosh, my back.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denise.
Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60 a strong